Dear anonymous friend. Can you keep a secret? Last night, I dreamt of her again. Smell of gasoline burning my nostrils, match in my hand. Lauren laughing and chanting. But her so quiet. That's what I remember most of all, how quiet she was. How could she be so quiet? I'm trying to light the match, but it isn't working and the sun is sinking. He's coming, Lauren is saying, smiling, hugging herself, rocking back and forth. I know I can save us if I just light the match, but it refuses. The strip must be worn down. I strike it again and again, panic mounting, hands shaking. Then I drop the match on the forest floor. I shake the box and hear its emptiness. Down on my hands and knees now, groping through leaves and mulch to find the match. Lauren still chanting all the while, working herself to a fever pitch. It was sunset just a second ago, but now midnight black is descending around us, the darkness of the woods pressing in. I look up and she's still kneeling there, dead silent, her face cast in shadow. Then, yes. My fingers close around the match. I make one last attempt and a bright orange flame, large as a campfire, emerges, illuminating her face. There's tears in her eyes. She smiles sadly at me. He's here, she says. And then I woke up. I haven't dreamed of her in so long. She's having me write a diary. We meet to read and discuss it every week. I won't lie to you, anonymous friend. Sometimes I write all the entries an hour before the appointment. I don't like sharing my diary. One time, in 3rd grade, Ashley Howard stole my diary and read it to all the girls at recess. Everybody laughed at me, except her. She never would have. I ran to the bathroom and cried. She always runs me through the typical barrage of questions. Am I still having nightmares? I shake my head no. Am I keeping up with my medications? Yes, the blue pill in the morning and the white at night. Am I making any friends? Yes. How's the job going? Great. Do I think about what happened anymore? No, barely even remember it. Almost always she wraps up with something big and sweeping like, what have you learned? I know what she needs me to say to put a checkmark in the little box, and so I say it, lonely girl, manipulative friend, hyperactive fantasy world. But last week she asked me something new. How did you feel about what happened to Lauren? I'm dumbfounded. Joy does her best to never directly mention Lauren in our sessions. What happened to Lauren? I'm sorry, Lizzie. I thought you might have seen it in the news. Lauren was found dead in her cell a week ago. My mouth is full of cotton balls. How did it happen? I don't know many of the details, but it looks like a suicide. I think of the last time I saw Lauren. Hands joined, racing breathless through the dark, sirens ringing behind us. When we couldn't run anymore, we stopped in a copse of trees to catch our breath, and there she whispered things to me. Told me they'd pull us apart, that we wouldn't see each other for a long time, maybe years, but she wouldn't forget me, and I must swear to not forget her. Because he wouldn't forget us, and the day would come when we'd be together again, and he'd sweep us up in his arms and carry us off into the endless forest. 11 years ago now. What was she thinking in her last moments? Was I on her mind? Lizzie? Are you with me? Joy's doing that thing where she holds my gaze and tries to see my thoughts swimming there like a fish in a pond. Present. Just processing. Processing is good. You don't need to decide how to feel about this yet. Just remember the work we've done, okay? It doesn't bother me, I say. She was a messed up girl with a lot of problems, and it's sad she couldn't deal with them. She's not a part of my life. Joy leans back and regards me with concern. Too callous? Listen, I think it would be a good idea if we started meeting twice a week again, at least for the next few weeks. I'm not happy about this, but I know I have no choice, so I force myself to nod stiffly. If you think that's best. Joy visibly relaxes. Just give yourself some time to think about it, okay? I don't need more time to think about it. I've thought about it for over a decade. But I can't resist, and on the bus ride home, I read more about Lauren's death. Teen participant in attempt murder found dead. Lauren Manning, 23 years old, was found dead in a psychiatric hospital Monday morning. Manning was infamous for her role in the attempted slaying of a classmate 11 years ago, a crime which she claimed was committed in service to a monstrous entity from internet folklore. Authorities have ruled her death a suicide. I scroll down further to see if she commented and find nothing. I wonder how she feels. I hope she's okay. Am I okay, anonymous friend? You tell me. When I get home to my little room, I find Ashley stretched out in a sunbeam on the bed. When she hears me, she opens one eye and begins purring in anticipation of a rub. I oblige her. I came upon Ash while wandering the house grounds a couple months ago. She was a tattered and ragged little stray, ribs poking up through her fur, and when I reached for her she shivered and shook. It had taken a lot of convincing for them to let me keep her. The group home enacted a strict no pets policy following the incident a few years ago with the dog and the pyromaniac, but Joy put in a good word for me and eventually they relented. As I pet Ashy, I begin to sort through the mail. There's never very much of it. Only my parole officers know where I live. But it always makes me feel adult. A couple flyers, some coupons, a bird-watching magazine. When I get to the bottom of the stack, an unmarked envelope falls to the floor. As soon as I see it, I freeze. Cold fingers run up my spine. Ashy looks up to see why I stopped petting her. Keeping one hand on her, I bend down and pick up the envelope. No writing or stamps on the front. I look around as if the writer is still on the scene. Inside the envelope is a small piece of paper, water damaged and dirt smudged. On it is a crude drawing done in a childish hand. It depicts a tall man with many arms and no face. One of his many hands holds the hand of a little girl smiling beside him. Encircling the two of them is a grove of trees. My hands begin to shake. Written beneath the drawing is a series of unintelligible marks and dots. Seemingly unintelligible, anyway. It's a secret code Lauren and I created when we were kids. She knew I'd remember. Or he did. Willingly my hand to stop shaking, I grab a pencil and get to work decoding the message. It's quite short. This is what it says: we're waiting. Come soon. That's when the nightmares started again. I'm feeling very lonely, anonymous friend. But I have you, right? Right?